AI hallucinations are where generative AI produces the bones, the text. This refers mainly to the large language models that sound totally realistic, but in fact can be fake, partially true, totally made up.
When you're going through this prompting, you will actually see hallucinations, you'll see incorrect information.
The hallucination thing, that's really fascinating, and that's kind of scary.
From 2021, when the hallucination level was around 22%, up to now, the reduction was down to 0.7% in the best models.
1% or less than 1%, depending where
Yeah.
that focus is, it could still be quite devastating. Like if it was picking up some fact and making an assumption on credit limits or something like that across the database. So that one aspect could really kind of distort the whole database in a very critical way. Yeah? That 1%, if it's 1% every day compounded, the error rate over a month or 2 months or 3 months, that 1% compounding every day can be pretty devastating.
You've heard about those famous cases like published by New York Times about the lawyer who used ChatGPT to generate reference cases, even with the documentation. Then it appeared that it was made up. Impact. This is a statistical model. It's a prediction of the sequence of words to verify the performance, to balance the data, to put the guardrails, to limit the prediction.
I can see a lot of companies going, a lot of organizations kicking and screaming.
They don't do proactively. That was viral hype. But the truth is that they uphold from the answer.
Yeah, it's still a very much an open subject. So the first rule of credit is never assume. So welcome again to the Spicy AI podcast, Control+Disrupt. I'm Mark Harrison.
I'm Joanna Miller, and in this series, we will be diving into the AI world with a special focus on order to cash, credit, and the challenges leaders face.
We're here to ask the spicy questions others avoid, cutting through the hype, challenging assumptions, and exposing where AI helps and where it hurts. So buckle up, because this isn't just another AI podcast. It's bold, it's sharp, and yes, it comes with a Scoville rating. So what's on the agenda today, Joanna?
Yeah, today's menu is hallucination.
Hallucinations. Okay, so that seems like a good place to start. So what are AI hallucinations?
AI hallucinations are where the generative AI produces the response, the text. This refers mainly to the large language models that sounds totally realistic, but in fact can be fake, partially true, or totally made up. So that's hallucination.
All right, that that sounds pretty scary. So when I was looking into this myself, I was kind of thinking if that's the case, it's just making up answers. What is the point of doing AI if we don't have faith in it and we have to check all the time? What is the point of this? Or how bad is this issue?
The point is to make the correct guardrails around the hallucination, because it is possible to minimize it by utilizing connections to the databases, requiring through prompting always reference to the resources, and obviously putting the human in the loop, like you said. But what's the sense? First of all, no human being is able to analyze that huge volumes of data within the milliseconds. And second, it is continuously improving. So obviously, the companies that are enabling the models are aware of the hallucination problem. And to give an example, from 2021, when the hallucination level was around 22%, up to now, the reduction was down to 0.7% in the best models on the market. So that's not that huge impact. However, if not spotted, it can be really harmful.
Well, yes, I mean that 1% or less than 1% depending where
Yeah.
that focus is, it could still be quite devastating. Like if it was picking up some factor, making an assumption on, I don't know, credit limits or something like that across the database. So that one aspect could really kind of distort the whole database in a very critical way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so it seems to me really that the users of this technology, we really have to understand the data in the first place. So before we go live, or to teach the systems that they have to be reconciled like every day, right? So you have to have warning systems telling you if something's changed from the day before. Yeah. So otherwise, that 1%, if it's 1% every day compounded, the error rate over a month or 2 months or 3 months, that 1% compounding every day can be pretty devastating. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is also which model the companies are using, because as I said, the 0.7 refers to the best performing models. So yes, the guardrails need to be there, because as you said, it 1% here, 1% there, and bad decision will be accumulating. So
Okay, so how
definitely. Companies need to think about it
do
and
we know
put
then?
the right guardrails. Yeah.
How do they know what's the right thing to choose? You said like the best in class has got a 0.7% error rate. Is that a particular company, a particular provider, or just a level that can be achieved with various AI solutions?
Being frank, this is quite difficult question. Probably I cannot
One of the spicy ones.
respond straightforward to that one.
Right.
And well, so first of all, you need to be aware what you are buying. What hallucination rate has a system that you are using, the LLM open source that you are adapting for your needs. So that's one of the very basic questions you need to ask, and be aware simply. Regardless, the rates, the guardrails such as connection to the databases and putting the limitation and enforcing AI to say, I don't know, or utilize only credible sources, I would say it applied to any hallucination rate that is on the market. So even as I said, it can be 1%, but imagine that it makes up the financials of the customer, and you set the limit to millions dollars, and then you lose it. So that I believe, as long as the hallucination level exists, regardless if that's 20, I don't think it's a case already, but regardless if that's 20 or 1, it can be, the impact of the decision can be huge. I believe you've heard about those famous cases like published by New York Times about the lawyer who used ChatGPT to generate reference cases, and even with the documentation, and then it appeared that that was made up. So the huge impact and bad fame all over the world. So it doesn't look like a huge impact case at the first, but imagine the reputational impact for that lawyer
Or the buyer. And it comes back to my point that you were saying about which provider you choose. Is there kind of somewhere now that potential buyers can go, to benchmark where's if I wanted to, look at bringing AI into my company, for example, where would I go to kind of find the best practice? Is there, because it's not a regulated thing and it's still fairly new. It's only been going 2 or 3 years in its current form. So where could you go to actually sort of get benchmarking? Frozen again.
Yeah.
Did you hear me there about the benchmarking?
Yes. Okay, you repeat this question or I just
Yeah, okay,
answer?
yeah, okay. All right, I'll yeah, my question is really we've still got this as you were saying there about the examples from the American lawyer and a 1% hallucination on a $10 billion balance sheet is quite a big difference, right? So if we're looking to purchase AI, where can we go? Is there anywhere that's kind of, benchmarking and saying that this one's better than this one, or this is good for this, and that kind of thing? Where do we get the comfort factor?
It's a very good question, and actually, potentially some opportunity to create some benchmarks and publish it. I haven't seen like a simple table comparing the hallucination rates, but well, obviously it may exist somewhere at some point of time. Uh, Made. So, well, maybe the opportunity for me to do some post around this area.
Yeah, well,
Thank
yeah,
God.
'cause we're still very much in it's still we don't actually kind of know, do we? It's still a new thing and it's changing every day. So it's still very much frontier work.
True.
Yeah, yeah.
So we will probably not be able to track it
For another few.
because like AI world is so full of news
Yeah.
that you really need to focus on the specific domain to stay more or less up to date, and still you can miss. So this is a huge market right now. But definitely, when you are deciding, this is one of the criteria you should evaluate and
And
take into consideration as a risk.
most definitely. I mean, the benefits obviously they can manage huge amounts of data, as you said, in a millisecond. That's the advantage of it. The disadvantage, of course, that any form of incorrect variation, hallucination, and so on,
Yeah.
data bias, as we've spoken before, it it can shift the output quite significantly, which comes back to the point I've already said it today. We've really got to have confidence in the original data in its current form, and then see what outputs we're getting through AI and reconcile it on a regular basis. And I guess part of the AI learning is to perform those reconciliations on a regular basis. And it's going to show you any variations.
Okay, I was frozen in the meantime, so but it was recorded. So probably we need to, if there was a question, it would be good to repeat the question.
All right. More a statement, really, that being aware,
Mhm.
um, we know that any AI is not yet 100% accurate. The critical point is that we need to know our base data to start with in its current form now and reconcile it pretty well every day. If we're talking about financial figures in credit order to cash, for example, it changes frequently through cash allocation, new invoices being generated. So there needs to be part of the machine learning has to be sort of every day, there has to be a reconciliation, and any significant variations have to be reported. Yeah.
Exactly. So every company should monitor the performance of the AI tools and see like the distribution of the data, retrain the data to avoid the volume biases or any other biases that may exist. And so with the hallucination, so it's not, we cannot blame AI for that because. AI, it's a machine. So this is a statistical model. So there will be always hallucination. This is the core of the statistics. That's prediction. In the situation of large language models, it's a prediction of the sequence of words. I know that it makes the impression that we are talking like with a human. It's not. It's a model that predicts the next word by word. And we need to think exactly about it. So that's not a partner. That's not even copilot or whatever we call. This is the model, the statistical model. And we need to take this assumption when utilizing it in our business. And this is our responsibility as leader to verify the biases, to verify the performance, to balance the data, to put the guardrails, to limit the prediction to the sources that we are able to verify. So
You think
that's
there'll be
totally our responsibility.
you think
AI, it's not responsible itself.
no, and I do
Yeah.
you think there already is a slowdown in the take-up rate? I mean, that it seemed like at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, everyone was saying, just get me AI, get me AI, get me AI, right? Without really understanding what that means in terms of the outputs we've been describing. It would, to me, it would kind of seem to naturally follow that there'd be a significant slowdown in adopting AI until other early adopters have actually kind of solved a lot more of these problems, and then it will kick on, but at the minute I can see a lot of companies going, whoa, I'm not gonna do this. One, it's labor intensive because you've got to have a whole group of people that are verifying and reconciling and checking and all the rest of it. On the plus side, it's bringing a lot of organizations kicking and screaming, doing the things they should have been doing decades ago, like getting their master data right in the first place, reducing the number of invoice disputes or the opportunities at source. So, but that's disciplines that should have been done anyway. And I think another way of looking at this, I was thinking that like 30 years ago when Excel kind of came along, or Lotus 1, 2, 3 before that, then Excel, um, we had the same issues in that if we put the formula wrong in a spreadsheet and the answer came out at 12, you know, people were going around saying the answer is 12. And you'd be saying, well, no, it can't be. You've got 10 there and 10 there. They must be 20. So no, the spreadsheet says it's 12, right? So this is nothing new again. It's just faster and gathering a lot more
Yeah.
information.
And again, who was responsible for this
Yeah.
wrong output in Excel?
Yeah.
Not Excel, human. And also in this situation, we are responsible for that one. And referring the trends in adoption, I think that well, there is many companies that became disappointed because they just bought AI on hype and pointlessly. So they lost the money, they didn't put the guardrails, they do not have governance, and most probably they are not entirely compliant in all the spaces. But I don't see the slowdown. What I see that there is a lot of education around AI, which is very good. So there is a lot of people who started to put educative content. There are trainings available. Obviously, they are to the different level, but that's a good trend, and I don't think it will slow down because this is huge productivity booster. And many companies have also successful implementations. We are here, Mark. We are focusing on the
I know.
downsides, but
Yeah.
purposely also for the educative purposes to show
Yes.
the weaknesses,
I mean,
and not AI weaknesses,
that's the
our
point of
weaknesses.
that's the point of what we're doing really is to highlight the areas that people need to be concerned about. We want
Yeah,
this to be successful as well. We're also writing a training course on this between us, and it'll
yeah,
be
exactly.
later in the year, early next year. Um, and from Callisto's point of view, where it drives the point we've said in every podcast that everybody in every company really needs to understand the basics of what they've got in their business as it is now. You can't go working in any form of technology without understanding the basics. Where does it come from? What does it mean? What's the context? In the order to cash
Yeah.
cycle, it starts right at the point of purchasing raw materials. You've got to understand the whole business flow, and all the nuances that go with that. So you can't just start right at this point without kind of knowing the whole thing end to end, right? And I think that's a mistake a lot of organizations and people are making. They're putting the roof on without the foundations. But that's nothing new again. but it can't be the case.
So that's exactly like with the credit process, with the O2C, with the AI. So you just put the roof, and there is no foundation, and you expect the results. No, you need to understand what you are using. If you do not have resources in your company that are able to understand
And there's another
the
paradox.
functionalities,
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
and you've got this recurring paradox that we write about a lot in Callisto, in that, there's millions and millions of euros and dollars being invested in AI, yet you want, I don't know, 5,000 euros to train your people in credit order to cash, and there's no budget for that. But there's a never-ending well of cash up at the other end, and again, you're making this fantastic solar-powered roof and all the rest of it, and you're building it on straw walls.
Yeah, we know,
Yeah.
all that roofs, all that marketing that
Well,
that companies are, like that companies are facing the world with. But inside many times there is a lot of manualities and also lack of knowledge. So
yeah.
yes, definitely.
I mean, it is an interesting one, and like you said, we're focusing on this sort of 1%, or it might be more. This hallucination rate. I'm looking forward. I guess there must be models now as well that actually do say, "I don't know," rather than just coming up with any old answer. They say, "Not sure," right, or "I don't know." That must be there somewhere.
Well, so what was the viral post? I don't know. So it doesn't look like that you ask whatever questions, and that was about GPT-5, and GPT-5 tell you I don't know. It doesn't look like that. That was rather accidental. It could have happened, but most likely this is a result of prompt. If you tell the model, uh, please provide me the answer to this and this and this. If you cannot find the source of the information, I don't know. And then that's the most likely the situation have happened. So that was rather exception. If that happened without the prompt. But yes, the uh, models more often don't answer the question if cannot find the data source, but it is still not the level. But no, they don't do proactively. I don't know every time. So that was viral hype and more like a meme than the real situation. But the truth is that they uphold from the answer. Yes.
All right. Um,
Mhm.
I suppose the conclusion of our conversation today really is that there isn't really a conclusion. It's still a very much an open subject, but the the important thing I think we need to stress is that it's like as we say in Callisto, the first rule of credit is never assume, right? And I think this is very much in that category. That for all the speed and everything that and all the plus points of where we are in today's technology, we've still got to check and check again, right? Before we kind of go really let these things go live, and keep checking all the time, so that, and would you agree that that's where people need not fear about their jobs right now, right? Probably for the next 5 years, that that certain tasks may be changed, but people are going to be moving from here to here, to sort of do these checks and balances, write these programs, verify the source data, etc., etc.
Definitely, there will be a bunch of new jobs. There are already
Yeah.
a lot of jobs related with AI. So definitely there will be rather a shift in the specialization. There are other jobs that will be automated. So all the transactional job, uh, that like a simple tasks that are manual. So invoicing, posting, invoicing, cash application. There are some low risk scoring, credit scoring models
Mm.
that can be taken over. So definitely the volume of transactional work will disappear. So that will impact the standard transactional shared service centers. But on the other side, the other roles will appear: the control, the verification, etc. on the AI. So we need to shift our skills to adjust to the market right now. And when it comes to the companies, they just need to have the purpose. So what they want to achieve, they need to understand what they buy and what are the risks, and then put the right guardrails. So they need to know the hallucination rate. They need to know all the requirements. How does it function? Is it able to retrain? Is it able to self-correct? Is it able to self-balance the data? If not, that's my responsibility to do that. Otherwise, I will not achieve my goal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean it's not something to be scared of. It is everything
No, definitely not.
every point we've raised to look out for should really be seen as an opportunity and not a threat. But you got to kind of know, you got to know your stuff to identify these opportunities, which again really comes back to what we were saying about this 10,000 hours, learn your trade, and don't start over there without being humble enough to realize there's a lot of things you got to learn on the way through, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, these are great conversations. Like these are sort of good dinner conversations. It's a circular one. There's no beginning, no end to this one. This is going to run and run. But for now, though, our Father Time has kind of beaten us again. Really enjoyed it. I'm sure we're going to get lots of feedback on this, and we're going to come back to this more than once, that's for sure. So next up is the data readiness myth. That's what we're going to cover next. Data readiness myth. Yeah. So, which I'm sure, again, we're going to have a cracking time on that. So, thanks again, Joanna. In the meantime, let's Control Alt Disrupt and keep your AI spicy.